Yeah.
What is DWA? Why
DBWA. So, on Hustle Hard, we've got so many things we learn every single time.
Right.
And the acronym DBWA stands for Dream, Believe, Work Hard, and you ultimately will achieve. So tikudzano ari kunzwa kuti chakakosha muupenyu ngatitange patiri. We gotta have a dream.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter uri kumaraini, uri kugeto, uri kupi kwauri, zvinhu hazvisi kufamba. The most important thing that anybody should have is a dream. You have to have that dream about ultimately upenyu lifestyle kauda kuzorarama in the future. Even usati wasvika ipapo. Chingova neshuwo yongoti ndichazodawo kudai, that dream. Secondly, unofanira kuzvibhilivha. Usamirire kusimbiswa nevanhu. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you. So for you to be in existence, kuti utombowe pasi pano panyika, Mwari akatokutemba akatoti no, rega nditumire George BeckyK vanhu vese vari kuteerera Capitalk. Kuti rega ndivatume pasi apa kuti chi vanoita zvandakavatuma kuti vaite. So you gotta believe in yourself because God believed in you for you to be here. The most important one, the W. You gotta work hard. Hakuna munhu akabudirira akaita zvaakaita asina kushanda nesimba. We gotta work hard if we're going to be uniquely who God meant us to be. We gotta put in that hard work ethic. Kana zvichireva you get to work earlier, you work harder than everybody. Be so good that people cannot ignore you because unoshanda. Wakatsvaira vanhu ngavatoona kuti munhu atsvaira munomasiyana nonga anogara achitsvaira. Because you work so hard in your craft, put in the extra hours. As entrepreneurs, as hustlers, hazvina basa kuti kuri kupisa, kuri kutonhora, the rate, the economy, politics. You gotta work hard no matter what.
The work still has to be done. And
ultimately, if you dream, believe, work hard, you definitely will reach a destination where you will achieve. So last week, we were talking about dream, believe, work hard, and achieve. And that was an amazing show with Just Precious. Big shout out to Just Precious for holding fort. It was really great conversation. And we had a lot of phone calls coming in, people asking questions. On Hustle Hard, zvinomeka sense vanhu vakatumira mamessage. Vakafona, vakadai zvinobatsirika kuti tozoti right, we're identifying and answering people's questions. Because that's what the show is about. It's just not about us talking. It's about us also diagnosing some of the problems that you might be facing and actually, tackling them down. So I think with that, it's important that if people have questions on Hustle Hard, send them right away. BeckyK, on which number?
0719-100-404. I'm already seeing some messages that are coming through, and we're about to get into our topic for today. And I just want to add to what you just said, Kuti, if you're going to do something, give it your all. My mom used to say, ukatsvaira mumba, make sure kuti hapana mumwe munhu anodzoka achidzokorora zvawaita.
That's right.
So if you are going to do something, give it your best shot, and then you must stand and look at your work, just like how God does. Hey, when God created, he looked back and he said, this is good.
Yeah.
Yes. How many times can you look back at what you have done and say, yep, this is good. This is good. I've done good. So until you have said those words, this is good.
Yeah, true that.
Today we are talking about mindset being everything. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, mindset is everything. Now, in order for us to be great, extraordinary beings, we have to have a supernatural mindset.
Right.
So all of us have a mind, but it's what we set our mind to be is ultimately what we become. So the mindset, all of us go to school, grade 0 to upper 6 to university. Our mind is being set specifically by somebody and some institution. But then what sets us apart, which is why I think our modern day curriculum is not for the current generation, because it's setting our mind to become workers and to stay in the box. But you will find if we look at countries like China, America, and other countries, they are programming kids' mindset
There we go.
at an early stage
Yeah.
to begin to adapt to the current technological trends that are happening in the world. So mindset is everything. If ever you are supposed to be great in life, trust you me, everything begins in your mind. Now, I love the word of God in Romans 12, verse 2. It says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind."
Yeah.
Now, if all of us, and I can tell you I'm one person who was not privileged to go to university, but I had to personally make a deliberate effort to update my personal mindset alone without these other institutions, which has ultimately made me who I am. It's so important that people get this realization. The world will transform your mind to thinking that this is what you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the most important thing is self-mastery. Kuzviziva kuti iwewe, what are you good at? And then more so, on top of the education you get at school,
Yeah.
now you focus on what's called self-education. Now, mindset is just like our mobile devices.
All right.
We see our phones update software every now and then, right? But vazhinji vari kuteerera nhasi, when was the last time you updated your software?
Come on now.
Now, software yefone inowedzera kuti camera idai, security updates, zvinhu zvakawanda zvinochinjwa. When your phone updates, yotorebooter, yotochinja. Wotonoti, sure, pane tuma-application twakadai, ma-features, camera yakutora zviri clearer. It's the same thing with our mind. Our mind can only reach to a place where it has been set to.
Right.
Now, I personally didn't go to university, but I can tell you there's a huge difference between me and my peers, because mindset changewa by three things.
Right.
Right? By what you see consistently.
Right.
Right? What you are seeing. What are you feeding your mind with? Now, one thing, I think we've spoken about this on Hustle Hard, BeckyK. Chino chinoita kuti mumwe nemumwe asiyane is the amount of information they are uploading into their mindset. Right? And if you take this thing, chinonzi mindset, very lightly, I'll tell you that the mindset plays a pivotal role in ultimately where we're supposed to be. What you see, right? What you hear, and what you surround yourself with. Those three things. So what are you seeing? What are you constantly feeding your mind with? What are you reading? Now, for me personally, I made a deliberate effort to, and I'm reading a book. I say this every time.
I knew it. I was about to be like, what book are we reading
That's
now?
right. I'm reading a book called It's Not How Good You Are, It's How Good You Want to Be.
Oh, wow.
Right? And every single day, my mind has to read a book. 8:30 dzakachaya, alarm yepa phone inotorira kuti read book. Ndobva ndatoisa my phone on silent, and I have to
That takes
read.
discipline, hey.
Right, that's discipline. That's what we talked about last time. Discipline is the bridge between reality and your dreams, right? So in order for me to update my mindset, I'm doing things that everybody else doesn't want to do. And Pane is saying, Tanzi, if you want to hide anything from, I'm not being racial or anything.
Say it like it is.
If you wanna wakada kuwandisa chino kune munhu mutema chise mubhuku nekuti vanhu vatema havadi kuverenga. That's right. Saka success leaves clues. And what happens mumabhuku atakanyorerwa nevanhu vakasoenda vakasiya mindset yavo mumabhuku, right? In those books, if you apply, there are people who say, George, why do you keep reading books? I read a good 10, 20 books a year, right? That's me. But vamwe vazhinji bhuku ramakapedzisa kuverenga ndiro vambira ZJC 19, so I don't know when back. And only because the school told you to read that book, you were forced to read it.
Yeah.
But there are so many books I have read. And it's not about how many books you read. It's about the information you get in those books that you actually put into application that then transforms your life. So the book I'm reading right now, an amazing book. How and what happens when you read it? Your mind,
Shifts.
it's like a muscle. So your mind is like paunoenda kugym paya vanoenda kugym will understand. Whenever you go to the gym, your muscles ndosaka achirwadza and I stretcher to a place they haven't been before, and for you to maintain that you have to keep doing it. And once you do it, no zona mamonya or whatever it is, because they do something deliberately. But with your mind is the most amazing untapped tool that all of us have. Saka, whatever you fed your mind with, ultimately nanas determines where you are. Saka kona pauri muupenyu wako zuva ranhasi is because of the amount of information you have fed. You have to constantly...
where I am in my life and where the pulses are in their lives right now, whatever it is that they are doing, it's because of the amount of information that they have.
Pauri muupenyu wako today is because of the amount of information you have. If you want to be great and successful, trust you me, the more information you get, but more importantly, BeckyK, taking action makes you different. So, vazhinji vanoverenga. I mean, we spoke of this. Zimbabwe is the most literate country in Africa, well educated, but so many people are sitting at home, and guess what they're doing? They're waiting to get a job, because mindset yao ndo zvavakadzidziswa what to do. But they're not reading books about life and how these great people started their journeys. And you know, in Zimbabwe, I can tell you, I'm a great fan of Strive Masiwa, Philip Mataranyika, you know, Dr. Stephen Magolis. I've learned from so many people. And these people, their mindset, and you'll find one thing is common, one mindset, iri up there. They read a lot of books. And vazhinji vanogona kuti George kungoverenga mabhuku ndo zvinotishandudzira upenyu hwenu. But then let me tell you this. When you read, you're expanding your mind. And your mind becomes totally different.
And you begin to think. You actually start thinking a whole lot different than what you were before. You start thinking about like, oh my gosh, where do I place myself in what I am reading?
That's right. You know, BeckyK, I was reflecting on my life recently. I posted a picture of 2006, you know, when I was working at the Pain People. And let me tell you something about my personal mindset. Kubva kudhara, kune shamwari dzakakura neni kuGlenora, vaipinda muroom mangu kuGlenora. You know, very small room. You know, when my sisters and brothers got married, ndopandakazoone room yangu, because ndini last born mumba. Pandaindamirira zvinhu pamadziro. And mindset yangu chero ndakakurira kuGlenora yanga isiri kuGlenora because of the things I was exposed to, because of the things I used to hear. You know, vamwe vazhinji vaindita no George Msalad. It's okay kunzi Msalad, but guess what? Chakakosha those days ndaiwana exposure yaisawa na vamwe vanhu. Saka mind yangu already was totally in a different place compared kune vanhu ve my surroundings. And that's the thing that made me become who I was. Ndakatorwa a picture next to a car and I said, one day tichazoda kuone mota yakadai. I asked the owner kuti ndipinde mukati. Mindset yangu payakapinda mota imomoka, I was like, wow, this is the life. Ndo kunzi moto. So my mind was stretched. So no matter, I had a 323 pekutanga, I had all this, my mindset was stretched kuti that is the key place to be.
Let me hold you right there. You said you took a picture while you're standing next to this car that you wanted to drive.
Yep.
How important is having pictorial evidence of where you want to be as opposed to just writing it down and saying, I want to drive a Mercedes C200 or C220 AMG Danyora Pasi, and then having a picture? Should I have both? Should I have it written down and should I have the image? Or should I just have the image or should I just have it written down? What's the wave of difference?
The most important thing is to actually have a picture. Okay. Most importantly, a vision board. It's called a vision board. Right. So something you consistently see over and over again begins to propel you towards that thing. So when you want to be the best at something, you know, and you hear all these great athletes and whatever, you know, they would put a picture of them wearing a gold medal or the person who they are trying to become like, and they keep seeing that. And once you keep seeing it, of course, I always tell people on Hustle Hard, Kuti, if you're not writing down some of the things we're talking about, it's in one ear,
And
out the other. And you know what? You'll never act upon something that you don't write down. If you ever want to build a house, there's a plan to everything. So it's important to have pictorial things about what you want to achieve, but more so write things down. The combination is great, and ultimately it will change your mind. You know, when you change your thoughts, you change your world. When you change your thoughts, you will ultimately change your thoughts. So the thing with people and with me back then when I was young, I had a dream of being somebody, and my mindset had to change in order for me to become the person that I'm supposed to be. So mindset is everything. And as we go into today, I want people to make a deliberate effort today. From today onwards, let's change the way we think. Let's change the way we feed our mind. You know, one thing about life, and I've got kids, and one thing that they have seen, you know, usually my kids, I left home just now, and I was so surprised at what my children were watching when I woke up. And usually some will be watching cartoons, some will be watching this, but I've got a son who enjoys swimming, I've got a son who enjoys basketball, I've got a daughter who also enjoys basketball. But the things that they were watching intrigued me. Saka, whatever you feed your mind with, ultimately is what it visualizes itself to be.
Okay.
And I saw them watching motivational videos about Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, and things like this. And imagine when you have a conversation with them, their mindset at a young age is totally different. Other kids, varongona cartoons, my phone, they are just on hearing Magua about this, that, and remember when we spoke about discipline, it's about doing something that you know you don't want to do, but it's actually beneficial for you if you do it. So reading a book, trust you me, somebody may say, why do I have to read? You know, I think I know it all. But with them at a young age, trust you me, when you begin to do things habitually, it ultimately brings growth. So what we're trying to tell people is that mindset is everything. Let's be people who adapt to change. Let's be people who know kuti success leaves clues, right? And only if you change your mindset enough will certain things begin to change in your life. One thing I can guarantee people with the issue on mindset is that, we can say elections are around the corner. Things are going to change. I can guarantee you nothing will change unless your mindset changes. So many people are saying, no, once, things change, we're going to have jobs and this, that, and the other. But that's not it. I can
already see a couple of people who are sitting quite uncomfortable in their chairs when you say that. Like, come on, George, what do you mean unless if we change? You know what is happening, and, it's an African issue. In most countries, they will always call on to leadership or blame leadership for certain things happening. And fair and fine, in as much as that may be true in some circumstances, what is it that you are doing with your own surroundings? As you mentioned about the 3 things that affect the mindset is what you see, what you hear, and your surroundings. I'll give you a perfect example. I think it's Rekaita Mwena, if I'm not mistaken, that road that passes through the Rainbow Towers. Is it? Is it? Yeah, it should be Rekaita Mwena. You will see a couple of office blocks there. Some nice offices, and some questionable buildings, right? And then I think to myself, and I say, if I was to own a business close to a nice looking office like this, surely I would put effort in making my surroundings, look close to as good as my neighbor. But no, there's this one particular one at the corner. When I get time, I will visit that particular place and ask them, paint. Just give your building a paint job.
True.
Cultivate, outside, plant a couple of plants. I mean, you don't need the government to do that. You know? So it's your surroundings, how you think, the decisions that you do, or the decisions that you make, the steps that you are taking. Like the question that you said, how much information do you have, and how much action have you taken?
Yep.
So with the information that you have right now, right up until this time on the 14th of August 2023 at 13 minutes to 1 o'clock, the information that you've had so far in your life, how much of it have you implemented in improving your life, in improving your surroundings? Because if you're continuously and continually, doing the same thing over and over again, Einstein says it's what?
Insanity.
Says it's insanity.
I like what you're saying, but then, vanhu vakasiyana, and, I would like to go to the animal kingdom, right? Pane mindset. There's an animal which is called the king of the jungle.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now, pane nonzi lion mindset. Now, the thing about a lion, let me tell you something, and this is what a lot of people need to adapt in their lives.
Okay.
You have to have a mindset. It is totally unique to everybody else. And this mindset is something about your inner being.
Okay.
I can only tell who you are, BeckyK, only when you open your mouth and you begin to speak. I can tell what type of animal or human being you are. So there are those who are always having excuses. Trust you me, those people will never ever become anything because they always blame somebody. Panongwe munhu ane problem for where they are supposed to be. Right? They don't take responsibility about themselves.
That's it. There
right?
You go. Yeah.
And that's people for you, right? Because there are other people who, no matter what, the economy is tough. Things are like this.
You know what? It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Everybody is going through the exact same 24 hours. Zuara sumuka rakavira. We all had the same 12 hours. Maneru wakasviba. But guess what? It's what you are doing. It's what service or product that you are offering or what you are willing to do extra that's going to change the economy or the people around you so that they can exchange money for a product or service you have. So many people, and I can tell you, some will say, "Andutanga business ripi." I don't know what to do. But that mindset, one thing I love about the lion, and it come rain or sunshine, it has to make a plan, right? No matter what, it's not going to blame this, that. It takes personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? It's super confident in who it is. When it draws, every other animal
pays attention.
And it could know mambo vamuka. And that's a mindset we need to have if ever we are going to become great and extraordinary. Salute to our heroes today. It's Heroes Holiday. And I can tell you, these guys who are all in there had a different mindset compared to other ordinary people.
That's true.
For you to become a hero, right? For you to be acknowledged. I'm always at awe, panotarwa speech, about the accomplishments these people made. Funga iwewe pauchafa, and it ne mindset yako, and it what is going to be uttered about you. Some of these people, we had the most intelligent president in the world, and he personally made it a point to self-educate himself. That when our president would go and speak at UN, his eloquence, his confidence was a sum total result of mindset that he had about himself. I can tell you he read many books. All those things were personal self-education. Saka, as we go on in our life, takaramba tichingoti tichiblame vanhu, tichiti, the economy. Trust you me, it's okay, and it's the easiest way out. But that mindset will make you urambe uchigara kumarain, vamwe vachibudirira. I have fellow colleagues and friends who I went to school with, who if I see today, we had the same mindset, pataenda kuchikoro. But soon after chikoro pachakapera, what you expose yourself to ultimately determines where you end up. Remember, I said association changed my mindset. Pandakangotanga kutamba nevanhu vane different mindset, ndakaona kuti wait, vanhu vari muZimbabwe ka vari kuenda through the exact same economic challenges,
but look at them.
But they are striving. They are not stopping and making excuses because of the current situation in the country.
True.
They are making money. Saka mindset iyoyo vazhinji vanongoti you know what, I think after the elections things are going to be okay. I can promise you 5 years down the line on the next elections, without your mindset changed, ucharamba ungoripo. And like I always say, apa pane quote yandaiverenga recently yekuti vana vachazokura vachinaye mudara vamwe vese pavaita zvine musoro ime mucharamba muchingoti politics, the economy, zvinhu hazvisi kufamba. What were you doing? And because you didn't update your mindset, you didn't hang around, azvite, and I say this repeatedly, if you hang around broke people, 5 broke people,
Number six.
you'll be number 6.
Number
And
6.
if you hang around with people who are making excuses and blaming the economy and saying no, zrakadai, you are going to be like those people. But if you hang around with people whose mindset is set for growth, for progress, even zrakawoma as it is right now, one thing I love about Zimbabweans, we are so, no matter what we face, we are resilient. And it and which is why Zimbabweans, whichever country they go, Zimbabweans are well sought after because they are dedicated, they are hardworking.
But why are we dedicated outside our own country? Why are we not dedicated in our
This
own
is the
country?
challenge, because
our mindset.
We think that people are not making money in Zimbabwe. Let me tell people right here who are listening, there are so many people who are making money here. Look around. Tell say mota nyuwani endai kuma suburb amusiri kugara. Muone vanhu vari kuvaka dzimba dzinotyisa. And guess what? When you go to certain neighborhoods, I always used to do it kudara when I used to stay in a flat. Dichita no ngatimbendei ku Ridgeview, ngatimbendei muBrook. Unoona zvimwe zvinhu zvino expand your mind. You will become a different person. I've always said this. You will only know how poor you are only when you go to a rich man's house. Ndipo unozonoti munhu yuyu ari kuraramawo muZimbabwe, but look, zvinhu zvake zviri kufamba, zviri kutoendeka. But the thing with those people, if you look at them, and I've always told people on Hustle Hard, wakaona munhu ane mari, usambofa wakashora munhu ane mari. Ask them what they did. Ask them, which book do you recommend I read that will change my life? How did you get there? Unoona kuti munhu iye akatosiyana, angatomboriwo neshamwari dzake that he grew up with. But pane pavakazosiyana pacrossroad, uyu bvaenda the road less traveled, ava bvaramba vachingoti ano zvinhu hazvisi kufamba. And the road less traveled, as hustlers, as entrepreneurs, as people who decide to do something different, that's what then pushes us to become what we are.
True story.
And ultimately we become these people like our heroes now, where people will remember you for what you did. I can tell you, musicians have a different mindset to everybody else.
Yeah.
They have to practice every single time. Yeah, they know the songs.
But
You know,
they have
I
to
know
keep
Ja
it.
Praise, I know Macheso, I know all these musicians. But mindset yavoga, haisingori yekungova local stars. They're always wanting to become on the bigger platform, which is why they're great. Vamwe vanongoramba vachingoita local champions because, you know, they're not seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that in order for us to become great, our mindset has to change. Our mindset is everything. If you can't win in your mind,
You're not winning anywhere.
you cannot win in life. Ajite, you cannot win in life at all. So we have to make a purposeful, deliberate effort. If you change your thoughts, you will change your world.
9490 writes in and says, Zimbabweans, we are complaining a lot. We complain a lot and very lazy. Tinomira kunaka kwenyika vamwe vachifamba. This is Changara Pagoromonzi. And then he continues to say, the Chinese, Pakistans, and Nigerians are coming here and making money. Isu tichitiza, tichiti makaoma, nementality yekuda kushandira vamwe, atidi kuzvishandira.
Imagine that. If other people can see
The
and
potential.
imagine how many people do we see on TV, investors coming in and they're investing. And yeah, it's okay. I don't think we know what we have as a country.
Yeah.
We are very blessed. We used to be the breadbasket of Africa. But guess what? Now we've empowered ourselves. You know, I tell people to register a company is so simple in Zimbabwe compared to
Anywhere else.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
Chimboenda mbofamba in big ndichida kuvhura macompany.
Yeah,
But
other
Zimbabwe,
countries
trust through me,
They make it
kungo
easy.
nobhadhara mari yako waregister,
Zita.
wakutopareta, usina office,
Directors.
wakutodaidai zvinhu zvakutofamba. But mindset yedu makes it so difficult, and only until you can actually conceive and believe in something can you achieve. And race stems from our mindset. And if we don't do that, I can tell you we're going to be at the same place, because Chincheseka, as a country, we need to be ye transformed by the renewing of our mind. It's not the government who's coming to help us. It's not anybody, but it's you as an individual. And zvinotanga newe, yes wakaenda kuchikoro, but zvinhu zvaunodzidza going forth is the things that's going to change the country. What I love about Zimbabwe, BeckyK, we've got so many problems. So many. Electricity, water, there's so much. But wakaramba ine mindset yekufunga kuti unoshandira munhu. Why don't you change your mindset? After you speak, some of the greatest ideas I ever got in business, I got through talking to people. When I surround myself with people, or I read books, or I listen to motivational things, once your mind is changed, wait a minute. Munhu uya akagadzira kanhu kekusunga chingwa kai. That's an idea. Idea kakatoona kuti wait a minute. Iwe. Ndine PhD education, but chingwa achifanira kuramba chakavhurika. Rega ndisunge chingwa kuti chi maintain a freshness. That's an idea. And trust you me, he must have gotten that from speaking to somebody else who created a solution.
Yeah.
Because success leaves clues. Kune vanhu vari kutsvaga to update their mental software. But kune vanhu vane excusatitis, vari kuramba vachingotaura and complaining and blaming. There's no positive conversation for growth that comes. Vanhu vakagara kumaraini, they're at the same place, they are not growing. And those are people on Also Hard, we say, we don't want to hang around with such people. And our mindset will not grow. Remember, tape example your phone. Let's update our mental software by the positive things we surround ourselves with. By deliberately saying, no, Netflix, nakidza. But let me feed my mind with zvinhu productive. Netflix, yamunoona iyoyo vamwe varongona ma-series nema-movies. Patoine ma-educational channels, right? That can actually transform your mind so that we can be better people. But then the thing with us, you can watch 10 series of zvinhu zvisina kana basa, or read a romantic novel. Imagine. But hausi kugona kuupdate software yako.
I'm updating my software to be romantic.
Ngatimboupdate software zvinotibatsira kuti tiwane mari.
Right. We have a few seconds before we shut it down. It is Capitalk 100.4 FM. Thank you so much for sending through your messages. For those of you who are asking for George's details, do stick around. I'll be giving them to you. And stand by for the news. It is 1 o'clock and you're tuned in to Capitalk 100.4 FM.
Your boy George Billionaire. 100.4 FM.